Have you ever booked a vacation and felt like you had a good grasp on your budget, only to come home and take a look at your visa bill and realize that somehow you went way over without even realizing it? Once you really dive into your expenses, you probably realize that there were a ton of hidden fees. For instance, you bought plane tickets, but you didn't take into account that the airline charged additional fees for the baggage, the lounge, seat selection, and in-flight meals. It probably wasn't a very good feeling, right? Well, oftentimes something similar happens with real estate investing, and that's exactly what we want to help you avoid with today's video. To start us off, we need to understand two definitions: monthly operating income and monthly operating expenses. Put simply, money coming in versus money going out. Monthly operating income is the amount of money that an income-producing property earns each month before taking into account expenses like taxes or financing costs. Monthly operating expenses, on the other hand, include all the costs that will be perpetually associated with operating the property long-term. An important point to note here is that this does not include your mortgage costs, since these usually decrease over time.
If you take monthly operating income minus monthly operating expenses, you get net operating income. And in this video, we're going to cover how with monthly operating income, there's much more revenue potential than just the rent. Cool, right? And secondly, and probably most importantly, there are a lot more monthly operating expenses that you may overlook beyond the usual suspects. It includes costs that were not there when you bought the place and costs that were there but start to grow exponentially unless you can anticipate them. And in this video, we'll actually show you a real live Vancouver property that we've been looking at and start to dissect how you can uncover these hidden revenue potentials and hidden expenses. Making sure that you do not overlook this math is pivotal. Why? Because you're going to be looking at many properties and you need a financial tiebreaker that goes beyond the usual metrics you might look at a surface level. And for example, if you want to sell this place, which eventually you probably will, these foundational metrics are going to be everything when it comes to what you can sell that home for, what you'll have as down payment and proceeds for your next one or more properties. This is especially important if you invest in a multifamily home or a commercial property.
It's also important to calculate monthly operating income and monthly operating expenses when purchasing a rental property, because it helps you determine the property's profitability and whether it's a sound investment. By calculating the monthly operating income, you can determine how much money the property generates each month before any expenses are deducted. This helps you determine if the property will generate enough income to cover the expenses and provide a return on investment. On the other hand, by calculating the monthly operating expenses, you can get a clear picture of the costs associated with owning and managing the property. This allows you to accurately estimate the total cost of owning the property and whether it will be financially sustainable in the long run. By comparing the monthly operating income and expenses, you can calculate the property's net operating income, which is a key metric used to evaluate the property's profitability and will be covered in the next video. This helps you determine if the property is a good investment and whether it will generate sufficient income to cover the expenses and provide a return on investment. To calculate monthly operating income, add all the revenue generated from the property minus its predicted vacancy loss.
What income can be considered for monthly operating income?
Let's walk through an example of a condo in Kitsilano that Paul was actually looking into. So on our chart here, we can see that the first couple of lines are more just information about the property. So this is a condo located at 50988 West 1st Avenue and is a single unit. The average monthly rent for a similar unit based on location is $2,200, but the actual rental income is $2,600.
What if I want to rent mid or short term, Alex? Show me how that works and how much can I get?
Great questions, Paul. The shorter term rentals have more expenses than yearly leases, so you really need to focus on the net profit, i.e. how much money will be left in your pocket. P.S. Even if you're living in this home, you should know the figure in case you start to rent it out in the future, especially even just for 1 to 3 months, thanks to Premier David Eby allowing any strata property to rent midterm. Moving on, we then have the percentage of vacancy and credit losses, which are 5%. This puts our total vacancy loss at $130 per month.
Would that change at all for mid and short term rentals, Alex? I assume given that there's a higher turnover, there may be a higher vacancy?
Yes, Paul, that is exactly right. We would need to account for a higher vacancy rate the shorter the rental periods are. Additionally, this would also bring seasonality into effect, as there are certain times a year which are busier than others, which can also impact rates. So sometimes it might make sense to lower your rates slightly in order to lower your vacancy.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I've heard other people talk about there are plenty of other ways that you can make additional monthly income. How can that be done?
There are several ways, but the most common would be things such as renting out a parking spot, storage locker, or having a paid laundry and dryer on site. For this example, we have other monthly income at $200 a month. This puts our gross monthly operating income at $2,670. Now that we figured out the operating income, we need to calculate our monthly operating expenses, which include the following. First, we have property management fees at $260 a month. These will be substantially higher if you had a fully managed Airbnb, as they charge somewhere in the range of 30% of rental income. So even though you may be generating more rental income, you would also have higher fees, which must be taken into account. Next, we have both the upcoming and estimated repairs and maintenance, which are $0. Moving on, we have our annual property taxes at $1,704.63, making the monthly cost $142.05. Then we have our strata fees at $458.78. Next is the rental property insurance at $60 a month, and the contingency reserve fund shows $0, but that's actually taken as a part of the strata fee. Next is utilities at $60 a month, but water, sewer, gas, and electricity and garbage are $0. Continuing on, we have cable, phone, and internet, which will cost you $100 a month. Then accounting, legal, and advertising at $0 a month for this property, as well as natural disaster risk. This leaves us with a total monthly operating expense of $1,080.83. Now that we have both our monthly operating income and monthly operating expenses, we can see that we have less expenses than income, which is a great start. Understanding that the monthly operating expenses will increase over time is important, and planning for that is something that not enough people take into consideration. There's no perfect way to predict this, but assuming that it increases by a small percentage every year, we can combat that by increasing the rental rates by the amount allowable by the government every single year, which is typically in the 1.5 to 3% range.
Here are the three main takeaways. Number one, as you saw, there are a lot of hidden monthly operating expenses that you cannot miss and you must include in your overall calculations. Two, yes, there is way more revenue opportunity on mid and especially short-term rentals. However, there is risk that there could be a lot more expected costs with vacancies and other incidentals. And related to that, point number three is, remember, before you buy the place, you got to make sure that it is zoned appropriately, that strata allows for it to be rented either short or midterm. On the bright side, if you have a higher turnover, well, you have more people leaving your apartment. If you get a tenant who is not very good and stops paying rent or starts to ruin your place, it takes 3 to 6 to even 9 months to get them out of your apartment, which means you're losing rental income and probably paying for a lot of damages. Now that you have a better understanding on how monthly operating income and monthly operating expenses work, you can look at what are the income potential in the property beyond just the rent, and what are the hidden costs you have to look out for. And now you can analyze this, give it your own gut check, and be way more confident in how you're buying real estate in a creative way.
If you're a little more curious now than before this video and want an insider scoop on places that give you a holistic ROI
without your finances or mental health falling apart, then book us below for a chat, and it's time to level up your living.